transforming lives.
Very good morning to you and karibu sana. This is a mid-morning pack. It's Wednesday leadership on this 20th of December 2023, and we are happy that you found time to join us. Of course, you know when it is Wednesday leadership, we discuss matters of leadership in the country in different spheres, and of course we are almost approaching the end of year 2023. Of course, readying ourselves for 2024. And because it's going to be a wrap-up for the mid-morning pack for this particular year, we are just going to look at the summary of the state of the economy in our country for this particular year, and especially since the Kenya Kwanza government took the realms of power. And of course, you are most welcome to have us in this particular conversation. I'm having my colleague Paul Kagi on the other side. It's good to see you again, Kagi, today. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm also fine.
Very well.
Hoping you're also having a great and a beautiful day.
Yes. Dear viewer, welcome to the Leadership Wednesday, the 20th day of December 2023. We are remaining with only 11 days to be able to say goodbye to the year 2023. Yes. As we welcome the year 2024, and I believe Mangicho, as the year is coming close, we have many things to tell God thank you for what He has done upon our lives, especially this year 2023.
Exactly.
Yes.
And of course, maybe even as we might want to mention that we've had quite a number of challenges, especially on matters economy. But just like you put it, we cannot lack reasons to tell God thank you. And of course, we are also hoping to get into 2024 with a lot of hope. And with a lot of positive mindset.
Yes.
Things are really going to work out, Kagi. Yes.
The good thing is that as we are coming close to the year, when the Kenya Kwanza government is barely, I think, 1 and few months since it started working, we are now getting used to the new government, and the new government is getting used to what their job and their work, what they're supposed to do. Everybody is now ready to move on, whether public and the government officials themselves.
That's very
If you are elected to be a CS, you know your mandate. If you are elected to be maybe a CEO, you know your mandate. Chair of the board, you know your mandate. And Mwananchi also knows his or her mandate by now.
Exactly. So you're most welcome. And of course, later on in this particular program, we'll have a guest. That is Dr. Peter Mbai. He is the head of programs in the Ministry of Public Service. The Ministry of Public Service. We'll have him. There is an interview that we had done earlier with him on the state of the economy, and even giving us his perspectives on what maybe has been happening and maybe what we can look forward to. So the exciting Mbai will be with us in a short while. And of course, we'd like to invite you to also interact with us and give us your opinions, give us your feedback. We are asking you, what is your take on how the state of economy has been, even as we come to, or we draw to the close of 2023. What is your take on how the state of economy has been, even as we draw close to the end of 2023? You can begin to give us your opinions on the same, 23814. That is our shortcut platform. And we are also inviting you to join us on our social media pages. That is Facebook, MBCI TV, and also YouTube, that is MBCI TV official. We'll be glad to also see what is it that you think about the state of economy as we come to the close of 2023. But of course, Kagi, even as we look forward to that particular interview in a short while, but we still have some other issues that have been making headlines across this particular 1 week.
Right. One of them is a very disturbing story. As we talk about the state of economy, the year 2023, there was a report given yesterday by the Controller of Budget, Margaret Nyakango, that 10 governors failed to spend a single coin on the development.
Okay.
And this period was the first quarter of the financial year 2023-2024. That is the month of, I think, September, September, ending September. And the issue is there were two governors who really spent good money in their counties, while others didn't spend even a coin. And this money went to salaries, it went to recurrent expenditure, and other issues which are not having a direct impact on Mwananchi. And the question that Nyakango was trying to imply here is that how comes a county is given money, whether it is little or much, that they cannot even budget for a single project? Because if you go to the budget allocation, there is a way this budget is subdivided in percentage, what goes to current expenditure, what goes to development, and what goes to other areas. But it is very disturbing to see 10 governors didn't see the need to spend even a single coin on a development, however small it is. And the question that lingers in my mind this morning is, does it mean that these counties didn't have a need in their counties?
That's
you see?
Yeah, it's quite
unfortunate. Even if it's putting a Maram road in the estates, or maybe refurbishing schools, or maybe adding some infrastructure in some dispensary and hospitals. It is very disturbing. And some of the counties which were mentioned by the control of budget, Nairobi, Machakos, Kilifi, Embu, Wajir, Samburu, West Pokot, Turkana, Homa Bay, Kericho spent all the money approved by the control of budget on recurrent expenditure. You see, like Nairobi County is a county which has an advantage of receiving money from the exchequer and also receiving money from its own collection. And it is one of the counties, I think the leading county in Kenya, which is receiving a lot of revenue from its people or from the public. So the question still lingers, how comes Nairobi County, our capital, didn't have any infrastructural need for the last 3 months? You see? I
think and that is a very pertinent subject being raised by the control of budget, that is Dr. Margaret Nyakango, because it actually points to the issue of accountability, the issue of competency, because if we can have a situation whereby there is no any development, and it is not a matter of money not being there. So there is money that has been actually allocated, but then maybe this money has actually been channeled towards maybe the wrong use. So it's quite unfortunate, and it just points to us on why we really need to be very careful as a people, as a society, as a country, on who we are choosing as leaders, and actually even trying as much as possible to follow up on what is it that our leaders are doing. Because at the end of the day, it can be very unfortunate that if only the money, the funds that are in our counties are only used for purposes of maybe paying salaries and recurrent expenditure. Because at the end of the day, Kagi, you'll find that Mwananchi, that voter in that particular county, if it is West Pokot, if it is Nakuru, if it is Uasin Gishu, they want to see development. People want to see roads being done. People want to see hospitals being built, schools being built, and so on and so forth, markets, and so on and so forth. That is the major thing that most of our people would want to see. And I think this is a wake-up call, and maybe it's something that really needs to be followed. And those governors, those counties, need actually to be put on the spot so that we can actually determine or find out why is it that maybe they didn't do what they was expected to do.
Interestingly, as the 10 governors failed to spend a single coin on the development, it is very impressive to 2 governors who really spend good money on development. These are given money, and they feel that they need to give their counties enough money for development. And therefore, we have the county of, I think, Narok, which gave 30% of development, or top in the development expenditure is Narok, 30%, and Bomet, 17%. You see? And some of these counties are not urbanite as compared to those which are failing to give development, you see? A lot of infrastructure. And therefore, someone is tempted to ask, how comes Narok and Bomet found it necessary for them to put some infrastructural program for their people as compared to some counties like our capital city.
Yeah.
And I think this is a big challenge to other governors, that we need to be strict on how we are allocating our budget.
Sure.
And therefore, even though the control of budget is revealing these things, and you're saying that there is an issue of accountability, but I'm asking myself, Mangicho, who is going to hold these guys into accountable?
Yes.
Who is it?
By the way, because you'll find that most of the time they might actually do this with impunity, and maybe fail to actually, because remember we have the members of county assembly, and you also have the Senate, which is also supposed to be the watchdog for what is actually happening in our counties. So I think these two bodies, now this is the time that they really need to be seen to be working. We need to have those committees in the Senate now coming to these particular counties
to put these guys on task.
Put these guys to task. Call them to those particular sittings. Let them explain what is it that has happened.
Yeah, I think also another problem that we're experiencing, that the public is too ignorant. Even if you see this report by the control of budget, I think it's a small percent of Kenyans who can be able to follow it up and to question their governors.
And that is why in this particular program we've always been encouraging our viewers, Kenyans, to take very active step in terms of what is really happening in our counties. It's very discouraging that the only time that Kenyans maybe would want to be part and parcel of leadership is when we're having elections. So once you go to the ballot box and you vote, you cast your vote, you don't care until the next 5 years. No, you should be following it. It's your right to be served. These leaders have been put there. They are being paid a lot of money. So it's important that we see value for money and value for the positions that they've been entrusted with.
Correct. And on the other side, politics, there is news that is coming up that there are some members of the Jubilee Party, especially the losers of last elections, who are ganging up in Mount Kenya region, especially from Kiambu County. They're saying that they want to revolt against the president and the KK government. And if you look at the papers, like a Standard, they are talking about the former president is behind this. We cannot verify it, but it is reported there. But it is being said that this thing is happening in Kiambu. They had a meeting of 500 grassroots members, and they were led by a former MP called Peter Mwadhi from Lemuru.
From Lemuru, sure.
Jude Jomo, former, I think, Kiambu town MP, are the ones who are leading this issue. And they are saying they are not feeling as if the Mount Kenya region is being I would say it's not being considered in terms of development as they opted to be. You see? And they are feeling, even the deputy president who comes from the region is not of good use to them. And they are feeling as if he is being used for some other issues, but they are not getting the value of what they did by supporting the KK government. And therefore, they want to start their own way of maybe pushing the government or maybe challenging the government. But personally, I feel, even though they are saying so, I feel as if it's a way of looking for a political machine. Because, you know, Kenya is very much into regional political parties. Tribal political parties, it's not a secret. And therefore, Mount Kenya has been feeling as if they are left out. They are looking for a good machine to be able to come together as they think of their political future. And I feel this time they want to use these forums to be able to strengthen the Jubilee Party. You see?
I think it's quite interesting, Kagi, because the motive is quite suspect, because if you're talking about the issue of Mount Kenya and maybe the welfare, or the welfare of Mount Kenya actually being at the center stage, even as we are looking at this operation. But then one wonders, because we already have the deputy president who comes from this particular region. And we have key leaders who are also having what we can actually say, very key positions, very key portfolios in this particular government.
Right.
So I don't know how truthful or how factual it can be that maybe these particular leaders have come to the consideration or to the realization that maybe Mount Kenya, it's like it has been left behind. But maybe I see it maybe as an opportunity, and I don't know how this could actually augur for the former president, because remember again, the former president, they had very bad blood between the former president and the current regime, composed of President William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua. But then in politics, they normally say nothing is impossible. So there could be something, there could be more than maybe meets the eye, especially if you're saying that the former president is coming back again to the political scene. If it is happening, then maybe there are other issues. I think there are other underlying factors.
Yeah, but of course you'll never see him coming out openly.
Openly, exactly.
But behind the scene, he has a big role. He's a politician by nature.
He's a politician by nature.
And therefore, it's very hard for you to whip him, not to do politics. And of course, he'll be meeting his political buddies.
Yes, exactly.
And look for maybe to push his political agenda.
And of course, at his age, I think it would be very it would be very hard maybe for one maybe to think or to imagine that he can just maybe go and not utter a word. But then what it will do to him in terms of maybe the public image, okay, is also maybe a question to be considered.
Yeah, so long as he's not coming up to these meetings, it doesn't have a serious impact.
Yes.
But the moment he comes out,
yes,
it is going even to call out to the other guys from the other side to come out also.
Exactly. Because what maybe most people would want to avoid is a scenario whereby we have those very harsh exchanges that, like the ones that we had witnessed. Okay, maybe he coming to the public limelight saying this, and then maybe those in government also uttering some very, very harsh words. I think that is maybe what most people would want to avoid. But then I think I totally agree that it is his right. He has freedom of expression. He has freedom of association. He's entitled to maybe support a particular stand, maybe particular leaders that he thinks or he believes or he feels maybe they are the ones that maybe are genuinely looking into the welfare of their people.
And he has his own way of doing it. If you look at the trend he has been applying since he left office, he sometimes emerges, strikes, and submerge. It's the way I'm seeing him, how he does it.
It's a formula that he has decided to use, and maybe probably it is working well for him, because you strike, then you disappear, then you leave the people talking about the impact, then once they talk and again they cool, you strike again.
What the Mount Kenya region is struggling with right now is what is called, which was watered down by the DP, the kingpin of the region.
Okay.
Because DP want to position himself as a kingpin of the region, and then we go to the former president. Other people are saying he is the region spokesperson. There's another guy who is also emerging slowly by slowly. I don't know how, but he is emerging slowly by slowly, called Maina Jenga. And therefore we have those three people who are somehow being positioned, or they are positioned themselves to be the spokesman of that region. And therefore, without a political machine, which I would call the political party, sometimes it is very difficult for you to pass any agenda in any forum.
In any forum, sure.
Even you see the formation of governments, like you see likes of the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Musalia Mudavadi, the Speaker of the National Assembly, they are in their positions via their political parties. And therefore, any politician understands this. You cannot negotiate anything in the political table without a political party. And that's why I think Mount Kenya, they are feeling a little bit uncomfortable. maybe not all of them, but a quite number, they feel they need to have a political muscle to be able to maybe negotiate their status.
Okay. We'll wait and see maybe how things are going to actually evolve, especially like you're saying. We are a highly political country. Of course, some of these things we cannot really fail to see. There is another story, Akagi, and this is now on Matters Education, whereby they are saying some 120,000 students 120,000 students get schools they did not choose, and it's like some parents and some children, some people who had done the KCP exams going to Form 1. It's like they're not pleased with the schools that they've actually been asked to join.
Yeah, they're saying that the schools they selected to join Form 1, not a single one.
Sure, but again, it brings out the question about and what maybe needs actually to be done, because for those schools, and this is something that we've actually been having for quite a number of years, whereby someone or a parent or a pupil, they're not satisfied with a school that maybe they've been selected to join. But then it begs the question, what needs to be done? Is it just a question of the perception, or is it a reality that maybe there is a school that maybe you can go and you cannot do well?
Yeah, I think sometimes it can be perceptions, sometimes it can be true.
It can be reality.
There's another group also which is not registered. There are other group of students who qualified to join public schools, but they didn't. They were not given. They were not sent to any public school. They went to extra counties, and also they're asking themselves, how comes I had good marks to join a public, not a public, but a national school, and I was sent to an extra county school, right? And the ministry was trying to explain that these guys are the guys who didn't even select any school. So if you didn't select any school, that means you cannot
How comes they didn't select? And
that is the question.
This is an exercise that pupils are taken through. Is it a question of them not being present during that particular day?
No.
In school?
I think also, personally, because I can remember I followed that exercise last time, one of the challenges that can be there is, especially in public schools, is the issue of logging into the system. You know, sometimes you do these selections in the system. I feel some of the schools don't have enough technology to be able to log in for students. For example, a student relies on the trainer or teacher to be able to select. You can select, but to log in the system, is only a teacher who can do that for you.
Yes.
Okay? Some teachers, they feel this is too much for them. There's an overload. And therefore they can do it casually. Who will ever know that your child was logged into the right school?
Yes.
Because you need to go to, a school has around 1,200 candidates. And this trainer or teacher need to go and feed for each and every student. Yes. I feel that is where the problem is. The ministry may not have a problem, but the problem may be emanating from the schools themselves. And therefore, you see, the schools cannot be able to expose themselves of that weakness. And the ministry need to look at how this program is being implemented by the schools. That is where we are having a huge problem, which is never addressed by anybody.
Exactly.
Okay.
That one needs to be looked into. And of course, they're saying here that even as most of those or that particular number did not get the schools that maybe they had opted to, but then the ministry says that the placement, the Form 1 selection, the placement is done based on these particular factors. Number 1, merit. Number 2, choice. Number 3, affirmative action. And of course, there is also the question of available spaces. So they look at merit. For example, you've chosen a school, but then the marks that you got, the marks that you attained, do they really qualify you to go to that particular school? So that is a consideration that is very key. But they are also saying there is also the question of availability of space. So it is true, you could have even actually been, you could have qualified maybe to go to a school like Mango. But then maybe for one reason, like the issue of space, you might end up not maybe getting an opportunity.
But I feel every child registers to join Mangu, almost every child.
Yeah, because I think they are given 3. You have to choose a national school.
Yes.
Then I think extra county.
County, yeah, county.
And then county. Okay.
So if you are all scrambling to Mangu,
Yes.
high school,
get that skill, yeah.
it's not easy. But there's one thing that I could identify that I think there is a lot of improvement on the system, Mangicho. The number of students who have not been satisfied with being categorized is getting smaller by smaller. But there's one category I have not heard this time, but they were there last time, whereby some boys were being categorized to join girls' high school.
Yeah.
And some girls were being posted to boys' schools. Last year it was there.
Is it computer error?
I don't know. But this time around it is not there.
Yeah, we've not heard of those cases.
No, I have not heard about that case.
Heard of those cases. So I think the most important thing as far as this is concerned is also maybe to encourage the pupils and the parents, because now it can be very unfortunate that maybe you've not been selected to go to a particular school and now you leave that one to actually trouble you and maybe to cause you a lot of stress, because what will happen? It's important for you to, or it's important for parents and also maybe the pupils to understand that there is also a possibility to succeed in the school. We've seen people who have actually gone to schools that are very remote. Some schools that maybe even the kind of infrastructure that they have is quite horrible, and maybe very many people may not really think that one can actually thrive in such an environment. But these students, these people have actually emerged from these schools with very, very good marks. So it's also a question of the mindset. It's important that they also have the faith that despite this fact that maybe they've not gotten the school that they wished to actually be selected to go and study in, they can also make and they can also do well even in the schools that they've actually been given.
One factor I think many parents are concerned with as they are sending their children to high school is the level of discipline in that institution. They are really keen on that, so that you're fearing to take your child into a certain high school, and then your child, when he's coming out of there, he is more in discipline than when he went to that school. It's a factor that parents are considering. Even though they would love the school, they would love to know how is the discipline of that institution. Another factor I think the ministry was looking at this time around, they were reducing on sending the pupils far away from home, very far away from home. It can be far, but not very far away from home. I remember last year, the beginning of last year, there was one girl after closing school, the place was too far. And then she's very new in that area, and she could not make it home on that day. She has to take a vehicle. It's taking many hours to fill, and then along the way, night is here, she doesn't know where to go. And then someone took advantage of that girl to provide a shelter for her. Only to emerge, the girl was mishandled by those people. And that one, I think, Minister has been very considerate not to take children very far away from home. At least a place where you can be able to easily commute within the reasonable hours.
Okay. Yeah. I think there is one more story here, Kagi, about the former Cabinet Secretary for Treasury. You remember Henry Rotich?
Yes.
He's actually been making headlines since he was acquitted of the Kimwarer, the infamous Kimwarer Aror dams. And of course, I can see in the papers he's saying I lost touch with the former President Uhuru Kenyatta after I was taken to court. The former CS questions advice given to the former president to allow 28 people to be charged, and he says that 7.7 billion shillings and not 63 billion shillings was expended on the 2 dam projects. Of course, the Kimwarer and Aror issue has actually been there for quite some time.
Yes.
And now that he's been acquitted, of course, the question is, so what will happen now to these dams? Of course, at the end of the day now, people will be asking, so where did the money for Kimwarer and Aror actually go?
The CS says there was no money that was lost.
Yes.
At all. So
why is it? But these dams have not Nothing has been done to these dams.
Yeah, maybe clearing the ground.
Yes. It's like that project, so it stopped.
I could remember very well the beginning of the president's first days in power. He clearly said that his government is going to prioritize and redo the Kimwarel and Arol dams. And therefore, we said they are going back to the former contract, and they are going to renegotiate and bring him back to come and continue with the construction.
Yeah, maybe Kagi, we can take a short break. Then, of course, we can pick up from that particular point, even as we also prepare to come with the interview that we had done earlier with the head of programs in the Ministry of Public Service, that is Dr. Peter Mbai, on the state of the economy. That is after this short break. Don't go far away. We are coming back with much more.
City Brim
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
Nakuru, a city brimming with opportunities, is set to witness a remarkable transformation. Vision Africa Circle Limited is proud to present Vision Africa Plaza, an iconic landmark that will redefine the city's skyline. The magnificent commercial complex will not only elevate Nakuru's business landscape, but also offer an exceptional investment opportunity for visionary individuals. Vision Africa Circle Limited invites you to become a shareholder of Vision Africa Plaza and reap the rewards of a thriving investment. With 3 attractive share packages: gold at 100,000 Kenya shillings, silver at 50,000 Kenya shillings, and bronze at 10,000 Kenya shillings. Enjoy a guaranteed 15% return on your investment, ensuring your money works for you and generates substantial returns. Investing in Vision Africa Plaza is more than just a financial decision. It's an opportunity to be a part of Nakuru's growth and contribute to the city's future. Seize this extraordinary opportunity today. Contact Vision Africa Circle Limited and become a shareholder of Vision Africa Plaza. Vision Africa Circle Limited, pamoja tuashinda.
Fabulous and affordable. Who doesn't love that? Victory Furniture, full of style, comfort and fantastic look, ensures your home and office is exquisite. Homely, magnificent, tranquil, alluring, elegance and grand. Discover a unique sense of style for both ladies and men at our boutique, guaranteeing you to stand out in every season. Visit our branches today and experience the joy of a fabulous and affordable lifestyle with Christmas discounts of up to 50%. Nakuru branch at Vicmac Plaza, Nakuru Victory Mall, Kiambu Road, Theatre City Mall, Eldoret Rupa Mall, Meru Greenwood Mall. For more information, call us today on 0729 856 762 or check us on Instagram and Facebook. Victory Furniture, where style meets comfort.
Peace be with you. At Amara Realty, we believe in providing you with peace of mind. That's exactly what our latest project, Shalom Gardens Phase 2, aims to offer.
Located in the heart of Joska and Dovoine, this is an area with all social amenities you could possibly need and think of already here, just for you.
And that is not all. Invest in a project that is value added with the modern gates, as you can see on ground. We've also graded the roads for you, and we have electric fencing for your security. And at Amara Realty, size matters. Get yourself a quarter acre for only the price of 1.4 million.
Shalom Gardens Phase 2 is not just a piece of land, it's your peace of mind.
Amara Realty, for your peace of mind.
Welcome to Goshen Medical and Technical College Thika, where dreams become reality and futures are empowered. At Goshen, we offer a wide range of courses in both the medical and technical fields designed to meet your aspirations. Medical courses such as Kenya Registered Community Nurse, Theatre Technology, Health Records, Orthopedic and Trauma Medicine, Nurse Assistant, Medical Engineering, Laboratory Science Technology. Technical courses like Catering and Hotel Management, Fashion Design, Hairdressing and Beauty Therapy, ICT and Computer Packages, catering to your creative and technological ambitions. Our students receive hands-on experience through industrial attachment, which we organize for them, ensuring that they gain the valuable practical skills. Conveniently located in Thika Makongeni, right off Garissa Highway, behind Leather Industries. Goshen Medical and Technical Training College is easily accessible. With affordable fees, you can pursue your dreams and achieve your goals with Goshen. So what are you waiting for? Call us today at 0750-264-044. Goshen Medical and Training College Thika.
Empowering future professionals.
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
Very good morning and karibu sana. You are watching the mid-morning pack. Of course, you know it is Wednesday leadership, and when it is Wednesday leadership, of course, we tackle matters leadership in the country. Of course, focusing on quite a number of areas: education, health, agriculture, and so on and so forth. And just like we had told you with my colleague Paul Kagi, today we have a guest that will also help us to look at how things are in the country, the state of economy, the state of the nation, and everything in between. And that is none other than the head of ministerial programs in the office of the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Public Service and Performance and Delivery. That is Daktari Peter Mbai. Karibu sana, Daktari. It's good to have you. It's been a while.
Thank you so much. Here I am.
Have you been?
We're doing the best we can. we are serving the country, we are serving the nation.
Okay.
Yeah, and we said everybody should serve the nation where they are. Everybody, like from the farmer down there,
yes,
border person, we know, yourselves, media, church, we are all building this nation.
Wow.
So everybody should do their part. It doesn't mean that because you're in some government or office, you are building the nation more than the other person who is actually holding the economy at the grassroots. Everybody is doing their bit. Teachers, doctors, everybody.
Wow.
And that's why we are here.
That's amazing. And actually, the last time, of course, we were together, you were in the Ministry of Trade and Investment. How is the transition like now to the Ministry of Public Service?
Very well. As you know, I'm attached to the Cabinet Secretary, Moses Korea.
Right.
So we were in the Ministry of Investments, and we did our bit. And that's why we are normally told, whatever you go, do, give it your best. Do it, because you don't know. I mean, we serve the government, we serve the president, and we're able to do great issues. Just 3 issues. We picked on 3 issues only: trade, investments, and industry. And on trade, we were able to open over like 20 new countries, signing bilateral agreements where the produce of Kenya is going to be sold. On investments, we had a target of $10 billion US dollars, the foreign direct investment.
Okay.
By the time we left, we are about 7 billion that has come directly through the private sector, through creating a conducive atmosphere for the private sector, all of them to come to invest in Kenya. And number 3, our target number 3 was industry. And by the time we left, we were able to come up with a design for county aggregation industrial parks, which is going to be in 47 counties, and actually launched 16 of them together with the governors, with the Council of Governors. And then EPZs, export processing zones, special economic zones. So we are saying that is the future, the economic future of this country. Once we have industry running, We then get investors to come and invest in the factories in those 47. If we have factories in 47 counties, yeah, and we have other big ones for the special economic zones, Dogokudu, Naivasha, Isiolo, and EPZs also, that is the engine, so that we don't depend on imports. We produce to export. How? Through foreign direct investments. These people bring money, they put industries. Remember, we are not bringing in traders. It's investors in industries where they're going to invest, and then the produce is got, Kenya becomes an exporter. That's the whole chain about the ministry, and now we are in the Ministry of Public Service. This is where we have been brought because there was a need. After we did all that, the president in his wisdom saw that there is a gap. That's why he saw we not only have the State Department of Public Service, but also performance and delivery. This is where we coordinate government delivery.
But before you come to your current position and your current ministry, Daktari, are you satisfied that the measures that you put into place are enough? They are satisfying to ensure whatever we are talking about, like the establishment of these industries, to propel Kenya to where we want to see?
The kind of foundation we set in Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry is world class. The foundation and the trajectory we took, and when the cabinet secretary was handing over to the Honorable Rebecca Miano, it's to say this is what we are able to do. This is a good foundation we have laid. Proceed from there. It is going to take this country to the highest level. The foundation of the number of investors we had already begun looking for in about 20 or 30 countries across the world, right? In terms of the trade deals we had begun opening, we had signed several of them, and the industries. That is the foundation. And because we say this country is for every one of us, you can play everywhere, wherever you are, lay the foundation, you know, somebody else comes and builds the blocks. So we are very comfortable and very, very, very convinced that the foundation we laid there was good enough. Those were 11 months record, and we did many, many things that would have taken other people many years to do, because just of the passion and, you know, and determination that we had.
Yes. So what happened is that you just put the structures, but you cannot really give a guarantee that maybe at the moment Kenyans have already begun enjoying.
No, you see what happens. For example, the example of, let me put the example with the industrial parks. They are being built right now in 47 counties, right? After they are being built, their equipment are going to come, factories, so that now production begins. You know, it's a process. Investments are still coming. Every day, even when we are seated here, people are still signing deals. All this you see the president coming is what we started, and now they're being realized. The issue of trade deals, already they are signed, waiting now for Kenya to export. So it's a rolling thing going on, and work is continuing going, because it's supposed to be a chain working on. So yes, we did our bit for those months, and the foundation was very good for the next year.
Looking at the maybe the international, the multinational relations in terms of maybe giving opportunities for trade and investment, maybe even for Kenyans, and also maybe looking for other opportunities, like maybe job opportunities for Kenyans maybe abroad. How is it like? Because this government has actually been reported to
in a big way. Actually, that's where to go. We cannot live as an island. And let me tell you, the area Kenya understands that you are interrelated, you live in a global village, the better. For example, trade. Before, we were just Kenya here, a market of 50 million. But we expanded through East African community. That's a market of 300 million. When we are there, through the president and the CS, you are able to go and open up the whole Africa to bring it together. You know, there's something called EAC, that's one market, COMESA, SADC, ECOWAS. Bring together the entire African market into one, such that if you have a produce here, it can be sold in Africa. That is a population of over 1.7 billion people. That is where we're going. Live here, go open market with the US, with Asia, with Europe. One, we have the liberty, and that's the policy of the government to open up Kenya there. Then number two you have mentioned is labor. There's a very deliberate effort actually going on right now, and you heard the president say the other day, to export our labor, because what we have, we don't have oil, right? We don't have all these other things. We don't have all those gold and all that. What do we do? What we have is human resource, very good people. We are going to export to the whole world. That's something else. So we must make sure that we we do business with other countries.
Yes.
In terms of investments, in terms of trade and all that.
But there are those who feel like whatever is really happening and whatever the government is really reporting that it is doing cannot really be felt by the common wananchi. Is there some missing link? Do you think whatever it is that we are being told is happening, and the travels that we are seeing some of these of the government officials actually doing, can we see maybe a direct impact?
Now, I would say this first. I'm a student of politics and government. So, and there's something called political economy, okay, that we studied. The balance between politics and the economy and development. So I'll tell you this, that where this government found the economy and the country is, for example, this place X. What we are saying is this: we have a choice as a government, led by the president, to come and sugarcoat and tell people, no, you know, let's be popular, it's okay, it's gonna be okay. Or to tell people, look, this is where we got the country. And let me make a clarification. By saying this is where we got the country, it's not to blame anybody. We are not blaming any former government. We are not. What we are saying is that this is where we got the country. And then we are saying, when we got the country, we have to do a plan, 20, 30 years to go. What is the best for Kenyan? Is it to tell them, this is the truth? Let's tie ourselves a bit. You know, let's just, you know, persevere for a few months before we go back, you know, to the ground, because we are in a hole, and then we begin moving. What is better is to tell them that, other than the other option would be, oh, everything is good, let's subsidize everything, let us hide the reality from Kenyans, and then 2026 the whole economy crashes. Then it's going to be a disaster. Would rather tell people, look here, let's hold on a bit. Things are going to get better. Then from there, the economy, I can tell you today, because this is very important to tell Kenyans, you cannot fake economy. Number two, economy to crash is very, very, very easy. You just need to put Kenya into an autopilot. The economy crashes. But to build it is very deliberate, very intentional. It has to be a block after a block. Look at what happened with the late president, former President Kibaki. He took it from negative, from the former President Moi. It is after 5 years that the economists were telling us the economy has grown GDP from 0 to about 7 or 8. After 5 years, we are only in the first year. Okay, we need to do things block by block. Yes, people are saying, and I can tell you this, the president has determined, I will do what is right, and he is hoping a few Kenyans going into majority will begin seeing, wow, we thought we were being finished. But if I could, we thought we were being finished, but we can see the results.
But if I could interject there briefly, Daktari, during the era of Mike Kibaki, fortunately, Kenyans didn't feel the pinch that they are feeling during this particular government. So what is it that Kibaki's government was able to do, even as they were fixing the economy,
yes,
that made Kenyans really not maybe to feel? Because what people are saying right now is that, yes, you're promising us that you are fixing this economy, but at what expense? And how far can Kenyans actually go?
The question is very simple, right? Okay. You cannot compare where Kenya was in 2002 and where Kenya has been in 2022. If I ask you today, the amount of debts as a percentage that we have to pay, that this government has to pay, that Kenyans have to pay, where we are, that's what I'm saying. Let's go back. Where did we find Kenya as a nation? Not as a government, as all of us. Okay. You see, tulikuta Kenya mahali. So, the pitch it was, we have to make sure that we satisfy so many obligations. Okay? So many obligations. And then there is a combination of factors. There's the issue of fuel, you know. But also look at the positives. The cost of food. Out of the one of the major policies of government of subsidizing production by subsidizing fertilizer, there is something else positive you can be seen. So we are saying, if this one can work, these other policies, if you can give it time, because remember last year we are being told you promised 100 days. Immediately the Bible comes down, the cost of food comes down, which was not true.
The price of food has gone down.
Of course, it has gone down. Do you want us to go to get out of this and we go and call some supermarket? Look here, we don't want to go there, but it has gone down. It's there. I mean, it's there in the supermarket. But remember, when the president came in, everybody was saying, "Yo, you promised by the time the Bible comes down, I mean, we are not magicians. Magic, like, you know, and see, magic is not even by miracle, you know. Magic, miracles are, and we are not neither miracle workers or magicians. But we said we promised we'll begin, we'll initiate policies that will lower the cost of living. So, and all stones were thrown. He said, no. May I say it within a year, and nobody thought a year would come. The year has come. People are harvesting, and the price of hunger has come down. So, the same case we are saying, we were in a hole. The macroeconomics policies that have been put in place in this government, slowly but surely, they are going to show. Do you blame Kenyans for being apprehensive? Of course you don't, because there is what people expected, and there's the reality.
And one of those measures that has been very unpopular with so many Kenyans is the overtaxation of Kenyans, especially the holoi polloi, the masses at the very bottom.
I will tell you this today,
of the pyramid.
and if you listen, because like I said, we have some serious background on governance.
Yeah, and even as you say that, your critics say that overtaxing.
I'm saying I have serious background on governance, governance and political economy and how things relate. Now I will tell you today. You are coming here to say that the lower people are crying because of taxation. Let me tell you the truth. Most of the tax regimes and the plans for this government are not targeted with the people you are talking about. Actually, sometimes you ask them, what are you saying you are being taxed? Housing levy is not applying to them. Let's be realistic. So, but, you know, the people who are being taxed, okay, they can't shout. So sometimes you go and tell people, you are being finished by taxes. Look, let's be realistic. The only tax we are very sure everybody pays is the one that is hidden in the VAT because of commodities. These other direct taxes are paid by the people who have a higher salary going up. And I'll give you an example with the housing levy. Tell me, housing levy, how many people you are talking about, those ones out there, are being taxed housing levy? Just one example. Yet, they are being told, you know, you are being overtaxed. But then, nobody asks them which, every month. Nobody is being taxed. Those are the people who are beneficiaries of the housing.
But they're directly affected.
No, I'm saying
even by the taxes maybe of those who are in the middle class.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. The only thing you can say that the people, the general people, the purpose of the president is to cushion the people in the lower pyramid
and ask
the people in the higher pyramid to contribute more. Look at NHF. Okay? Right now, the people on the ground will be paid 300 out of 500. Who is paying that? It's us who are paying something so that the people down there can be cushioned. Look at housing levy. We are contributing so that the people down there, that is what the people are not being told the truth, is that there is a deliberate method of cushioning the majority at the down of the pyramid so that the people at the up can contribute more towards so that a bit of balancing. That is what is happening. So this story of overtaxation and all that, Kenyans are not used. And let me just say that with a lot of humility. Kenyans are not so much used to paying taxes. And we are saying, we are not coming to blow you with 5,000 or 6,000 on top, or even 1,000. We are just saying, if you can just add that 100 or 200 on top, right? If you, according to your ability, right? If you can do that and then everybody does that, the basket will be full. So, we are just telling Kenyans, don't resist. You are not being asked to, you are not being asked to pay everything. No, just pay 100, 200 on top. Look, everybody does that. Now, the problem is, we are saying, some people have been paying taxes. Others have not been paying taxes. That's why you see it's not enough. Other countries, taxes contribute to about 30% of the national revenues. In developed countries, including America and UK, here is only 14%. We want to say, just pay a bit, what you are able, and by the way, it's not by force, we are talking. Please agree to pay this. I say, okay, let me pay. With one condition, let me know where my taxes are going. That's the condition Kenyans are putting. And the president has been very keen on that, extremely keen. You know, the moment he came, he cut down the budget by 300 billion. But and all this, he cut down the budget.
Maybe actually what most Kenyans would have thought is that maybe there are those individuals, some people call them cartels, some others call them the untouchables, who maybe most people would have thought maybe that in the past regimes were not used maybe to paying taxes, and in one way or another they would get their way in this. Now, what we are really wondering is whether this particular government has been able to fix this. What is your take on that?
What I want to assure you, everybody like now is paying taxes, like for the president. Okay, president is an individual like any other. Okay, he has his own companies and his own interests elsewhere, right? Everybody is paying taxes. That is number one. And that's why we say the problem has been some people have been paying taxes. Like those, for example, with the pay slips, right? But other people have not been paying taxes. So we are saying, excuse me. So the people who have been incited to shout about taxation, actually they're being cautioned. They are not the ones we are targeting. We are not, mark my words, it is the people who should pay taxes who have not been paying taxes. And we are saying, if you look at all the people, all those taxes you are talking about, you'll see some minimal thing to be told, please kindly, we are just asking you to pay 200, for example, or 100 or 200 or 300, but everybody must pay. Then we are going to be self-sufficient. That is what Kibaki did. That's what the president did. He made sure that we are self-sufficient. But now we are spending trillions of shillings to pay debts. If you ask where that money went, you can't show, because borrowing is not extremely bad. You must borrow a long term, not 10 years, not 20, 50 years, right? With very low interest, but also put into some projects that will be productive. You borrow to fund production, not borrow to fund consumption, because consumption goes. And that is the whole thing we are trying to say here. We are going back to the Kibaki days where we want to just that little. And let me clarify. Some people say, why tax, then people, we are saying no. People are not used to be taxed in Kenya. Come back now. Just give you a bit willingly. We are talking to you kindly. Just agree. We are just saying pay a bit of it. Everybody pays. Kenya becomes self-sustaining. Now all the money that we are collecting, it's us to fund. The country will borrow from you, pay you interest to go and do roads. That is internal. Why? Because the money we are borrowing from China, it is from somebody like you. Savings of Chinese. They save, they put it together, they loan Kenya. Come back at an interest. No, you see, it's a zero-sum game. We can't develop that way. No country develops on such loans. But you can get productive long-term loans to fund infrastructure big time. And that money can come from Kenyans. Kenyans can contribute the money, it's there, and then government can borrow the money, pay at an interest to the Kenyans, and do the roads. That is where we are heading. In another 3 years, we'll be on this show, and I'll tell you, look at what we say, because everything in this world is based on the proper policies, macro and microeconomics, policies that you have to apply. I can assure you this. I've been one of the supporters of the president since 2018. I believe in his passion and his vision and his commitment, and he has a vision for this country. He has a heart, and he wakes up every morning. I can tell you this: he wakes up every morning to go and work very hard. I serve a CS who wakes up every morning, literally giving your soul and heart and everything just to serve this country. I can tell you this: with that, God must come in and make sure that what is being planned is working. Because the most important thing in life, you can do many things and you are lazy and you are not doing anything. This government is working. Some people are working daily to make sure that what I've said is being delivered.
So what would you say? Because I think the major thing that every Kenyan now is complaining about is the high cost of living emanating from the high cost of fuel. And most Kenyans believe that if the price of fuel were actually to come down, then things would work. So even as you say, Daktari, that the government is actually putting measures to cushion Kenyans and to ensure that they have a better life, are you foreseeing the price of fuel coming down? And do you really think it's as a result of maybe the global dynamics?
I'll just say this in a nutshell. One, the price of fuel in Kenya is being determined by other forces, which are mostly out of this country. Now, what the government is doing, in view of that, of course, one thing that the government is very careful about is to begin subsidizing consumption by coming to say, look here, we are going to look for money, which it doesn't have. Remember, it's the money you borrow to come in. So we are saying, let us put a balance. Like now, for the last 2 months, there has been some subsidy, right? Some bit of subsidy for about 5 shillings, right? But that's not sustainable. The sustainable way is to look for a formula to have an arrangement with the importers so that the price is managed. It's not easy because OPEC, if you remember, OPEC used to study it when you were in high school or all that. The organization of oil producing countries, right? They are the ones who determine the price of oil. So what the president is doing and the government is trying to have an arrangement where naturally, and the word is naturally, there's nothing dangerous as trying to force things artificially. Because the moment you are not able, everything crashes. Look at the Kenya shilling. It has been suppressed for many years. Suppressed. But this government came and said, why try to do things artificially? Let the Kenya shilling find its ground. And here we are. Let's be realistic. For how long can you hide the truth from Kenyans? For how long can you run an artificial system? We want things to be real, then tell people here we are now. Let's try to come up. Let's try to manage it artificially, naturally, because we are here for many years. We are not here for 2 years. Wow. We are not here for we don't want to give people false hopes. Then 26, before we go to elections, everything collapses. That would be dangerous. And that's where we come in as advisors on politics and economy to say this is the way to go.
Yes. Daktari, let's shift gears because of time. And there's two still areas that I want you maybe to capture briefly. Now that you're in the Ministry of Public Service, Performance and Delivery, maybe what do you think has been the major impediment to service delivery in the country? What's happening to ensure that this one is actually streamlined?
Yeah, thank you so much. So our role is threefold, of course. Like you said, public service and performance of government, delivery of what government has promised, from the manifesto to all the pronouncements and what people have been told they are going to be done. Our work and the CS is to coordinate to make sure that government delivers what they said. And one of the biggest issues, about service delivery and performance is motivation of staff, and to be told this is where we are going. We are coming up with some courses whereby all public servants are going to go back somewhere and be told, okay, what are you serving for? What is it? What are the agendas of government? What do you want to achieve? So that from the word go, they know where we are heading to.
Your CS has proposed that public servants go through NIS.
Yes. Well, mandatory courses, first of all, those who are there, there are those who cannot be able to go back. But in future, those who intend to go to be hired by government will go through NYS. Why? NYS is a paramilitary training. You get some discipline, some life, some patriotism is infused in you. And by the way, just to mention of that, in the immediate, everybody willing to join Kenya Police, military, Kenya Forest Service, KWS, all those forces, they will be products of NYS. Okay? Because it doesn't make sense to get one kid trained at NYS. They cost the government between 300,000 to 500,000 because they come there with certificates and diplomas. It's very expensive. Then you go back to the village. Then somebody comes from Green, you go to Kiganjo, right? You don't have any training. Yet a lot of money has been spent to train somebody from paramilitary training for 1 year, right? So what we are saying, the people get into those forces, they must be products of NYS, so that at least even the time taken at Kiganjo now will be reduced, because some paramilitary training had already taken place. What am I saying in a nutshell? From today, I want to appeal to all Kenyans where they are listening. The next time you hear NYS intake, that is the place to go for your future, because you are not going to come back home. 80% of all the intakes from Kenya Police and all that I've mentioned, will be from NYS. So that is a future, so that we can absorb all young people at once, especially those from vulnerable backgrounds, those who are not sometimes able to get money to join colleges and all that, right? Because they are there. They'll be picked, then they get to a channel whereby after NYS they get recruited into Kenya Police Service, into the Kenya Army and all that. Those are the kind of things we are talking about.
And what is your ministry doing to ensure the successful digitization of your systems? Because this is also where most Kenyans have been complaining about the manual undertakings that maybe sometimes take very long.
What is there, first of all, is to, of course, put a lot of platforms, in the e-citizen platform. But also because of people who are not able to do that, they need assistance. That's why we have Huduma centers, okay? Huduma centers right now, they're about 52 in the whole country, 52 only. We are now partnering with members of parliament and NGCDF. We have a design lady, which has been approved by the president, okay? A design where we are going to have digital hubs, ICT hubs and Huduma Center in one. Okay? So MPs are going to give the money. Then the design is already there through the Minister of ICT. Yeah? Then we are going to ask NYS to come in. Go, because mafundis are there. Foodies are there, everybody. And they are our young people. And they are being picked from all over the country. And they are going to build those Huduma centers in Lekon time. They are going to be called Huduma Jitume. So that they have component of Huduma. So now, to answer your question about the disability, remember, number one, we have devolved Huduma services into 290 constituencies. They are going to be based in sub-county headquarters, right? Now, after that, we are going to make sure the CDF very well is going to change the road to say the MPs will not only build but also equip, of course, with modern technology.
Right.
Okay, modern technology completely, so that it will be modern. There will be some people there to help you with. So if you want a birth certificate, and for example you are in Waseges or Subukia, you don't have to come to Bahati like it is happening now. They go all the way to Bahati to pick a birth certificate. So you can imagine a whole population of 150,000. They have to get matatus and go and eat, come back, being told it's not yet out, like 4 times, spending about 3,000. Look at the economy. So we are going to have one station there with modern equipment. The young people will go there, look for digital jobs. All the exposures, scholarships, you know, they are going to apply online. And you're going to be having young people from 290 or all those villages living there, some of them boarding place to go, where they have gotten scholarships and jobs abroad. Some of them, those who need mothers, who need birth certificates, they will come there. So there will be a section for Huduma Center with all the 139 services. Those are the services that are offered at Huduma centers. 139. From lands to immigration, you know, kupimo sukari, you know, everything, you know, all the state auditing, they will be available at the local. That is what the president have said, and that's what the CS have said, and that's what we are working on as we speak right now. Those are some of the things we are saying that we want to bring to the people. Those are key issues. So if we can be able to get our young people there, then we get all those services at the grassroots, you know, then we have our public service trained, you know, to understand, to serve the people. And finally, we are going to have something called Pasha. Pasha is where people are able to say, what is the problem do they have in accessing government services? It's going to be online. And also USSD. You're going to release a number because of those women, you know, those old people who are not able to go online. A number, you say, me, I went to this place, I didn't get this service. So that we will have somebody seated 24/7 to redirect and say, we have gotten this complaint, can you do something about it? So we can operate an open government. Completely, no darkness. You can be able to see from the word go. So if you go somewhere, you have issues with land and everything, send the number, all go online and say, I went to this place for a whole 1 year. We saw poles of electricity, but no electricity. Okay, I'm from this village. You don't need to travel, don't need to go anywhere. It will be picked, and that is what the Department of Performance and Delivery is going to do from going forward. We want to make Kenya an open system. I mean, you are seated somewhere, send a number. You reported electricity and you paid for 1 year. Okay, it has not come. Surely it's not fair. Just report it where you are. Where you are, either online if you're a young person and you have access, or USSD. A number, you know those numbers. The local communities are very good with those numbers. They use them sometimes to get some money, to get those lotteries. So they know, you know, put this number if you have a problem with the government. And then it's meant to help. It's not meant to accuse government. It's meant to make government realize there are some gaps in what we are doing. And this we are doing together with all the ministries. Wow. We are going to have a day, for example, we go to Nyeri, for example, or Kisumu, or Homa Bay, or Vihiga, get one ministry to come and say, this is what we have been doing. This is what we are doing, all our parastatals. Many Kenyans don't know we have 350 parastatals. All of them in each ministry. Doing what? Let people, can we give information? Once we have information to Kenyans, we work with them. They are able to understand our challenges and what we are doing. Information is everything, and that is our background. So that's what we want to do, that Pasha. And then Wajibika is where we are going to go now to the counties. We go and say, here we have come, ask your questions, let's engage. The minister comes. For example, environment, says everything about what they are doing. People will ask, it will be live on television. All the stations are going to be covered live. So people can be able to understand, and then issues will come back. Then feedback will come. Then that way, a service, delivery, performance and delivery will all be captured in one. That is a summary of the ministry that I'm in right now. And I try to coordinate those issues on behalf with the CS. And we are hoping for the best.
Thank you. That is Daktari Peter Mbai, Head of Programs, Ministerial Programs, Office of the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Public Service, Performance and Delivery. We appreciate your time, Daktari. Thank you so much for making time to be with us. And of course, we'll plan for another interview so that at least you can also see the progress, because it seems that quite a number of things that
a lot of things happening. Government is working. Government, you can imagine, that's one ministry. We have another 22 ministries. Everybody is working like that. We have all these parastatals working for the Kenya. Thank you. Give it time. It's coming. We may not be there, but we are heading there. Wow. The foundation being set that 1 year is very sound. Wow. There's a lot of hope.
Wish your viewer Merry Christmas and
happy so much. I wish all the viewers across. We thank God for the year. It has not been easy. And a lot of people may have wished to see this end. They have not. So we thank God, one, for life, sound mind, and we pray in the new year that I wish all of you a very blessed time. In the end, please remember to take one day just to go before God, thank God for the year, literally kneel down and say, God, I thank you for this year. I trust you for the next year. A very fruitful year. We are hopeful. We live here because of hope and knowing that every new day will bring a new hope for the future. Thank you so much. God bless you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Asante sana. And that's how we bring it to a close. That was an interview that we've had with Dr. Peter Mbai. He's the head of Ministerial Programs, Office of the Cabinet Secretary, Public Service Performance and Delivery. See you on the other side with my colleague, Paul Kagi.
Very well, and there you go, Mangicho Mola and Peter Mbai, as we having that interview regarding to what is happening in the ministry, and I believe that you have had some good insights on what is happening on the operations of the government. If you have any question regarding to what has been discussed, 23814 is our SMS number. And Mangicho,
of course, we've had Dr. Kagi.
Yes,
he's touched quite a number of things, but of course, actually can relate some of the information that is given with the interview that the president did with a number of media houses, the round table interview in State House, actually looking into the aspect of economy, and he was really confronted with the questions about taxation. This taxation, and of course Kenyans have actually been those who are really feeling the pinch of the high taxes that we've been going through. But remember, the president said that at least now, from what we've been doing, at least Kenya is off the hook in relation to matters debt.
Yes. And there's one thing that Daktari has mentioned, that Kenya is not overtaxed. And he has really been categorical on saying that some countries in Africa are being taxed, are paying even 30% of their gross income in their taxes. And the problem is that we are not used to heavy taxes. When they are coming, and now we're feeling that as if we are being disadvantaged. But as I was doing that, I was asking myself two questions, that in terms of paying taxes, should we compare ourselves with other countries? Should we have other countries as our case study to be able to pay more taxes? The other one is, I don't think Kenyans mainly have a problem with paying taxes if you go and ask them. The issue is, when we pay these taxes, how are they managed? Right? Because we are still having a challenge with corruption, mismanagement of our resources, wastages. We are having still that problem. And one of the things we should do as the government, the president himself is working ways to be able to justify the reason why the taxes have been raised. He should also work hard on the other end, though I heard him saying that during the interview.
And remember one of the things that he said on the interview about how much is collected actually. He had said 60 billion for
house levy.
Oh yeah, for the housing levy, by the way. Although he corrected that figure and said approximately 6 billion a month. Yeah. 6 billion a month. It's quite a lot of money.
A lot of money.
It was asked where that money is. And he says that money...
There's one thing that the president did, I feel it was very nice, to be able to consolidate the collection of all revenues from the ministries. And he said that by next year, that is January next year, no Kenyan should pay cash for any service. All the monies should be paid via the system. And he gave the number, I think 22222, yeah, which is the pay bill for the government.
Actually, for information, there are also some counties that had actually started that particular initiative. Like if you go to Laikipia, and I think I was really impressed by that. There was a time I visited Nyahururu District Hospital, and you don't give cash anywhere. Yeah, so you have to do it via the phone, which is very, very important.
And everybody should move in that way. It's a very beautiful way of managing our resources as a country. But now, the big elephant in the room is, we have managed to bring all our money in one basket. And of course, the reason why it is in one basket is to be able to manage the money and take it to different avenues for maybe development and services. The question remains, this money which is in one basket, once, because finally it will come out. Now, when it comes out, how are we managing these finances? Sure. That is where the problem is.
Yes.
Because again, if you don't have enough systems to manage the money which we have collected, then we are doing 1 minus
exactly
1.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, especially now that the president said that we do not necessarily, or we don't really have a problem to do now with the issue of debt. So maybe most Kenyans will now want to find out what is it that they can see that this is not as a result of maybe the tax, the taxation measures that were put by the government. Now there is something that we can be able to see on the ground. Talking about the prices of commodities are going down, and I was truly trying to argue with the Daktari there.
Yeah.
But of course, there has been the issue of different government officers saying that the prices of commodities have actually come down.
Yes.
But if you still talk maybe with average Kenyans, they would still cry that some of these commodities, except for unga, that, but of course even for unga, it is still subject to the kind of brand. It is not the same price.
And a unique way of maybe doing their own mathematics, very unique, using a 1,000 shillings. They could compare the amount of commodities they were buying using a 1K last year and the amount of commodities again they are buying using the same amount, 1,000 this year.
Yes.
So it can easily tell them whether things are coming down or remaining the same or going higher with that simple mathematics. And that is where everybody needs now to go to. That everybody will feel as if life is lenient if the cost of commodities goes down. And this issue, I don't know, Mangicho, it is becoming a huge problem to us in terms of even our leaders. Personally, I don't understand what is going on. Because if you go to the government side, they have their own narrative regarding to cost of living. If you go to maybe the government officials, the same. If you go to opposition, the same. We are having different narratives regarding to...
It reminds me of the other question that the president was confronted with. It was about different government officials coming out with different positions on the state of the economy. And it was actually told, the president, you told us during the Jamhuri Day speech that now Kenya, we are now, the economy is stabilized. But a few weeks ago, the cabinet secretary for Finance Treasury, that is Professor Njuguna Ndungu, I think he was quoted saying that things are not okay. And the deputy president has also been on record saying that no, it cannot just take 1 year or 2 years to fix this economy. We need like 10 years to fix the economy of the country. And this, so people are wondering, so what is the government position in relation to the state of the economy? Because the president is like he's saying one thing, the deputy president is saying another thing, and then of course the minister, the cabinet secretary for Treasury is also now giving us another position in as much as the state of the economy is concerned. But of course the president tried to maybe explain why maybe the other leaders gave.
And this reminds me the issue of the CS for Treasury and the president regarding to the position of the cost of living. It reminds me many years back, I think it was in around 1993 when Kenya was in the same situation during Moi's era. And the cost of living was very high and things were going way high. Even buying a sugar, it was not easy to get a packet of sugar. And by then the CS, I think who was there, I think Chai or somebody, really declared in public that the country economy is in ICU. He was CS for Treasury. And it really brought him problems with the President Moi then. That how can you be able to give such kind of a position as a person of your caliber? You know, a CS for Treasury is a very, very key person in government. And when person who is in charge of our finances says our country is in dire consequences economically, everybody will believe you, whether local or international community.
Yeah, and of course, the other thing that in that interview that came out is what, of course, we've talked about, that Dr. Peter Mbai is saying that what we need to do is to just be in a position to wait and be in a position to persevere, because the government is in the process of actually building the economy, and actually saying that where the economy was, it was quite pathetic, and some of the steps that have actually been taken are very, very rigorous steps. And the president was again quoted as telling the journalists that he took measures that even politically they might actually, or he thinks or he believes that even politically they might actually make him very unpopular, but all the same he decided to take those steps so that at least this country can actually be fixed, and so that things can actually come out well. Of course, he has also talked about the issue of the president moving to different countries across the globe,
yes,
and trying to find opportunities for Kenya in terms of investment, and also maybe in terms of Kenyans also getting jobs abroad. And this is also something that the president has also been heard saying. But of course, I remember we even talked about this again, and there was the question of what did it do to the economy, and maybe how many Kenyans can be granted some of these opportunities. And if you look that in relation to, or in comparison to, actually maybe trying to, as much as possible, put the right infrastructure and maybe industries being opened, industries being established, so that maybe we can ensure as many of our youth as possible can actually get opportunities.
Yes, yeah. If they can be able to have a way out to solve our unemployment, it's a good gesture. What the doctor was saying, and labor export or human resource export, because you remember last time we had such kind of a question with our guest, I think 2 weeks ago, and we were asking them what is the issue of the exporting labor, and they said Kenya is having a huge problem with unemployment, yes, and we need to reduce the number of people.
Yeah, we are not faced with the problem of brain drain.
Brain drain, no, yes, it's not there. So
we have surplus.
We have surplus. So nobody should think there is a brain drain danger. We have surplus for this, and it's a good gesture if our young people are going to benefit from this. But what need to be done, as much as we are sending our population outside Kenya to secure some employment, I don't know, I have not heard if there are some good policies laid down by the Ministry of Labor, the Ministry of International Affairs, on how these people who are being prepared to go out, how their affairs are going to be secured by the government. You know, we have been having some issues with the Middle East countries. People are complaining of mistreatment, such kind of things. And we have not come up with a good policy to be able to secure our youth.
Yeah.
In case of anything when they are outside the country.
I think
right?
That is a factor that really needs to be put into consideration, because again, it's important. We don't want to witness some of the cases or incidences that we've had, that we've seen, that we've actually been told happening to our people when they move to these foreign nations or these foreign countries. Yeah. And of course, we agree that it is important, it is good if we can actually have as many Kenyans as possible getting those opportunities. But then the measures that needs to be looked into, I think, is also a matter of priority. Yeah.
There is one issue that you have discussed which is very, very positive. The issue again of securing employment for our young people, the issue of the National Youth Service.
Okay.
This matter, though you discussed, it was mentioned by the CS himself when he was in Gilgil last season, but one before even the president went there a few weeks ago, and reaffirmed that 80% of the trainee at NYS are going to secure employment, or they are going to be given the first priority in our paramilitary, be it the KDF, Kenya Police, Forest Service. And I felt this is a very good move. And according to Dr. Mbai, the reason why they have decided to go that direction is because it is going to be multi-effective, because NYS, these young people go through a paramilitary training which sometimes is also being effected in our other trainings. And therefore it's going to reduce the amount of work being done in our KDF, Kenya Police and Forest Service institutions. And therefore there are many young people who have been going through NYS, and I think almost all of them end up going back home without any form of employment. But also, as you are continuing, I was asking myself again, I don't know, does it mean the NYS is meant to breed paramilitaries? Or I may not know, but I thought it's a skill-based institution.
Sure. Although, I agree with you, because most of them, when they join that particular service, they are there to get some of the skills in different, maybe kind of professions. But there are those who really relate it or think that maybe once somebody maybe has actually qualified from this particular training, then there is an avenue that they can actually have to join all these other forces. And you've also had of course, I think it was the CS, Moses Kuria, saying that it will be mandatory for any Kenyan now, especially those who are going to join the public service, it will be mandatory for them to go through the NYS. I think it is because maybe of how they think the people who actually come from this particular service and the way maybe they have in terms of maybe the character, in terms of the discipline that they have when they are doing their activities. And
you see, many of our young people, sometimes they find themselves in employment without going through some life transitions. For example, someone from class 8 goes to high school, from high school to college or university. After university, you can be lucky enough to go to employment. So you didn't have a time to reflect on life, to understand what life is, to have time and transit from one area to the other. Some years back, anybody who used to go to university must go through the NYS as a transition to university. And therefore, I think it's something the government is looking to be able to have a place to prepare the new public servants, maybe to have time and reflect on the next stage of life. Right?
Exactly.
Because if you go through your life like, should I use this word? I don't think so. You remember the story of Simon Makonde? It's a very dangerous way of...
The one with the 7 days.
Yes. It's a very dangerous way of living. We need to give them a time to reflect on one or two things.
Exactly. Yes, I totally agree with you. And then, and of course, the issue of the House levy, Kagi, you already pointed to it. And listening to the President, is saying that there are people who are already now getting these jobs. And when I heard him, it's like the issue of the House levy, the President is so much really even concerned with people actually getting these opportunities, compared even to maybe people actually, the number of people that are actually going to benefit from these houses. I don't know what is a comment, but we are actually coming to the close. But I think maybe that is also an area that really needs to be looked into, even as we go to the year 2024, looking at maybe the state of economy. So there are things that really the government really needs to put into consideration in terms of really ensuring that the welfare of Kenyans can actually be looked into, and especially in terms of reducing the cost of living, which is still quite high for many people.
And we wish them well as they continue looking for ways to be able to stabilize our economy. That is where everybody is looking at, that the government, the whole government, to stabilize the economy of our country. We are always wishing them well.
Exactly, and that is where we bring it to a close for today. This being the wrap-up for our mid-morning pack for year 2023. It's been nice. We are promising coming back to 2024 will be bigger and better during our programs. Many thanks for being with us, and also on behalf of the entire team behind the scenes that has made this particular program a success. It's Merry Christmas and a happy 2024. 24. My name is Mangicho Mola.
Yes, once again, I want to wish you well as we come close to the program for this year, the Leadership Wednesday. Personally, I'm wishing you a very blessed week ahead. Hoping tomorrow, Friday, we shall be here again for the last program for the year, the Men Matters Friday. Paul Kagi, my name. Have a blessed day ahead.